First thing I want to talk about is what's going on with my dad. For the last month, my dad has not gotten paid from the company that he is running loads to. Bruh. Maurice Bay here, the helpful trucker. And today in this video, I just want to talk to you about some of the experiences that I'm having, that I'm seeing with being an owner operator. First thing I want to talk about is what's going on with my dad. And not getting paid, basically. He's got his truck that he drives, and his truck is on a job for the most part. He runs mulch into a mulch yard about an hour away up near Kings Dominion. And my truck, which is also my dad's truck, I got my truck on a job at a pallet company right up the street from me. I go there every day and get my miles in there. So, as an owner operator, all of the expenses that the truck creates falls on you. Any parts that are needed, insurance that are needed, fuel that's needed, any of that stuff falls on you. Right?
Oh my God.
The last month, my dad has not gotten paid from the company that he is running loads to. We just found out recently, that I say recently, I mean like 2 days ago, that the company actually got bought out by another company. He's still running loads in there, right? Every week, he's still been putting fuel in the truck. He's still been running loads in there. But the company let him know essentially that they were looking for other places to get funding. So they let him know a couple of weeks ago that they were having a problem with money. They were having a problem with financing, right? And as a result, as an owner operator, he wasn't getting paid, and he wasn't the only one. None of the contract drivers that bring mulch, which is what it is, into this place was getting paid. He drives probably 60 miles. Well, it's 60 miles. One way, it's a 120-mile trip that he has to do to run the load, and he gets paid $300, right? And he takes, I don't know, 8 or 10 loads up to the place every week. 10 loads at $300 a pop, $3,000. 8 loads at $300 a pop, $2,400. So he at this point hasn't been getting paid between $2,500 and $3,000 every single week for the last month. Which is one reason why, as an owner operator, you have to make sure you get your money right. You got to make sure you know how to handle your money, because it's hard to know when you really have a profit. In other words, just because you have a profit left over from last week or from last month or even from last quarter does not mean that something won't come up in the very near future to eat into what you thought was profit. So you have to, as an owner operator, the first order of business is you have to get your money right.
I want to feel like it's raining on me, okay?
You got to put away some money. You don't need to become an owner operator and immediately start spending more money, because that's what most of us do. Whenever we get a raise in income, whenever we start making more, we start wanting to spend more. Well, that's the wrong attitude to have when you are getting started as an owner operator, because Murphy's Law is at hand, right? Things that can go wrong will go wrong. And if you don't have the money to cover it when they do go wrong, now either you can't run and make more money, or you got to go into debt, right? You got to use your credit, which is also putting a strain on your future profits, right? Now, what's going on with my truck? I get paid by the mile. Beep, beep. I get paid a third of what my truck makes. And for the past few weeks, my mileage has been a little shaky, right? And that happens, right? That happens with hauling pallets. Pallets is a year-round thing, and companies always need pallets. So there's always mileage there, but sometimes I might have to wait to get loaded, right? Today, I had to wait for about an hour and a half to get loaded. And then I had to take the load that I waited to get loaded about 20 miles, 25 miles down the road. What we do with pallets is we'll drop off a good load of pallets, drop off a good trailer with good pallets in it, and we'll swap that out and pick up a trailer that they've reloaded back with bad pallets, and we'll bring that back to the pallet company. When I got to the place 20 miles up the road, the trailer that should have been loaded with bad wood that I should have been bringing right back down the road 20 miles was not loaded. Didn't have anything on it. It was empty. And so the company doesn't want us to come back with an empty trailer. So at that point, I had to take that empty trailer to another company right up the street from us, from that place where I dropped off the good pallets at. So when I get to the place, the trailer that I need to pick up is in the hole. So I got to unhook from the trailer, the empty trailer, put it on the side, hook up to the trailer that's in the hole, pull it out of the hole, right? Drop it, then back up under the empty trailer, stick it in the hole, drop it, then come back and hook up under the trailer that I just pulled out of the hole, which is loaded with bad pallets. The thing is, I only get paid by the mile. I only get paid by the mile. So wheels aren't turning, you're not getting paid. So we do get paid for wait time, but it's not what you get paid, right? When you're driving. Right? We're definitely taking a pay cut when we're waiting, getting paid by the mile. So it is a bit, like I said, it is a little bit slow right now, right? And then not only do you have to take into account when you're getting paid by the mile, the slow time, like I said, you also got to take into account whether you're really doing a drop and hook, whether when you go to drop off at a place, whether you're getting live unloaded, whether you got to wait to get loaded, all of that stuff factors in. When you get paid by the mile, you only want to be dropping a trailer, picking up another one, keep it moving. I just learned yesterday, I talked to a guy that's been there for a while, and he's like, look, man, you need to talk to the dispatcher and let the dispatcher know exactly how you like to run, what kind of miles you need, right? What time you would like to be able to get home, right? And he's like, hey, they got the freight, they got the miles, but because sometimes they don't know how a driver likes to run, or just there's a variety of reasons why you may not get the miles that you want when you're getting paid by the mile, which is why you got to make sure you take every precaution, right? Like making sure when you have a good week or when you got profit, you don't spend it, you put it up. And also making sure that you talk to your dispatcher and make sure you got a good relationship. I didn't realize that before I got started in trucking, that the dispatcher was so key, because if he don't like you, right, or she don't like you, they can really mess up your money. I'm not having the problem with like that with my dispatcher, but I have heard of stories like that before. So
I want to touch on ass kissing.
So you got to make sure you keep all of that stuff in mind as an owner operator. If you're thinking about going that way, you need to make sure you got regular miles. You need to make sure you got places to go. And keep in mind, we don't go out of the state. Neither one of us goes out of state. You got more options if you're able to go out of state. But there's plenty of money to be made in state. You do have to massage it into place. You do have to make sure you got relationships with the people that do have work. You do have to make sure that you stay in the contact with the people that do have work, even though they may not have work right now. Because when the work comes around, you want to make sure you're on the top of the list. Because as an owner operator, right, you're not getting paid by the hour, right? You're only getting paid when your wheels are turning, and your expenses are steady. But sometimes your income isn't. And so you got to make sure you take the right precautions to make sure that you keep your income up and that you keep your profits and that you don't have a whole lot of expenses going out, soaking up what could be profit. And you got to make sure that your truck stays running. You got to make sure that you fix things on the truck when they go wrong, because if you don't, then that could lead to something more expensive needing to be fixed down the road. Maurice Bay, the Helpful Trucker here. For more helpful CDL tips, go here or consider subscribing to my YouTube channel right here. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but instead you chose to be here with me, and I really appreciate that.